So we are on the fifth step of revenue recognition. That is, we had discussed that in the beginning. There are 5 stages of revenue recognition. First step was to identify the contract with the customer, that we understood. Then second was identify the performance obligations in the contract. Is it a single performance obligation or multiple? Determine the transaction price. What exactly is the transaction price, which included fixed and variable also components. And last time we saw allocate the transaction price to the performance obligations in the contract. We had seen that how much transaction price we will be allocating to the various performance obligations. And the last step, that is the fifth step, talks about recognizing the revenue when or as the entity satisfies its performance obligation. So in the fifth step, we'll be discussing what is the point of revenue recognition. That is, what is the point when the entity satisfies a performance obligation? When do we say that performance obligation is satisfied so that we can recognize revenue? Okay, so we will be in the fifth step, that is recognize revenue when or as the entity satisfies its performance obligation. So it is the last step. First was identify contract with customer. Second was identify the performance obligations in the contract. Determine the transaction price. Allocate the transaction price to the performance obligations in the contract. So in step 3, we had discussed about what exactly is the transaction price. What exactly is the contract price that we had found out. Step 4 is how much we can allocate to the performance obligations. And in the last step now, we are understanding what is the point at which we should recognize revenue. Step 5, satisfying performance obligation. Step 5 is satisfying the performance obligation. Now, let's read the first 2 paras, then we'll get an idea of what they are saying. An entity shall recognize revenue when or as the entity satisfies a performance obligation. So as soon as you satisfy the performance obligation, which you defined in step 2, what exactly are the performance obligations. So as soon as you satisfy that or any one of that, you can recognize a revenue. And what is the revenue? That you decided in step 3, the transaction price. By transferring a promised good or service, that is an asset to the customer. The performance obligation will be satisfied when the entity transfers the good or service to the customer. An asset is transferred when or as the customer obtains control of that asset. So here the good and service are the assets. So whenever the customer gets hold of that asset, so either he gets control of the asset, that is the good, or he receives the service. He receives the benefit of the service. That is called that he obtains control of that. So that is when we say the performance obligation is satisfied. In other words, the transfer of control is the key determinant under Ind AS 115. The transfer of control is basically it passed on to the customer. That is when we say the performance obligation is complete. This control model is different from and replaces the risk and rewards model under Ind AS 18. That is the old Ind AS. So in Ind AS also there are a lot of amendments. So initially it was Ind AS 18. Now it is Ind AS 115. So Ind AS 115 is the amended one. Such decision making on how control will be transferred to customer is done at the inception of the transaction. So at the beginning only you know at what point the control will be transferred. So will it be transferred over a period of the contract, that every month you are delivering some service, so every month he is getting a benefit, or at the end of 1 year only he will get the asset. So if you are making a equipment or something, or a plant or machinery. So only at the first year, end of the first year or end of 2 years, he will get hold of that asset. Because unless that machinery or equipment is complete, he cannot use it. So like that. In case of construction contract also, generally proportionate payment basis is used. So as he completes a certain proportion, so it is like the client is receiving that much benefit, but he will pay also that much. That time it is said that the performance obligation is satisfied over a period of time. Over a period of time is it is satisfied in installments. So like 25% complete, then 25% complete, then 25 like that. Sometimes that is the way of performance obligation also. Sometimes it is like the performance obligation is satisfied only at the end of the period. So at the end of the contract only the performance obligation is deemed to be satisfied when especially you're constructing some plant or machinery. In case of services, mostly it will be continuous. So like every month he's delivering a service and customer is enjoying that. So as every month completes, he can say that I have completed a performance obligation. And obviously the customer will also pay for that. So the various cases where we say that performance obligation is complete or not. So that we will be discussing in this part. So transfer of control is basically satisfaction of performance obligation, and that is when revenue recognition is achieved. Therefore, the key questions that need to be answered at contract inception, start of the contract, to determine if the seller has satisfied its performance obligation are: establish what does control mean in context of the arrangement between the parties. So what exactly is control here? So for example, a asset, that is a good, is transferred or a service is transferred. So depending upon a good is transferred or a service is transferred, you can understand what exactly is the control here. So in case of service, the customer will receive benefit. So when is that happening? In case of goods, the goods will be transferred, the possession will be transferred. So when is that happening? Does the customer acquire control over a period of time? So is he getting control over a period of time? That suppose the contract is for a month, for a year. So every month he is getting something or the other. So he's getting the control in installments, that is over a period of time, or point in time, that is after 1 year only is getting. So that we are going to understand in this part. So does the customer acquire control over a period of time? That for example, the contract is 1 year. So every month he's getting something, or at the end of 1 year only is getting something. That is at a point in time. So if he is getting control over a period of time, that is every month he is getting something, or quarterly is getting something, then we have to recognize the revenue quarterly also. But if he is getting after that contract is over only, that is after 1 year only is getting the control, then we have to recognize the contract, that is the revenue after the end of 1 year. Now, what does transfer of control mean? There are various meanings of transfer of control. Control of an asset refers to ability to direct the use of and obtain substantially all the remaining benefits from the asset. So this is from the point of view of the customer. So when do we say that customer has obtained control? When he can use the asset and he can get the benefits from that asset. Now, asset can be a good or a service. Control includes ability to prevent other entities from directing use of and obtaining benefits from an asset. So only he can call the shots. He controls the asset. So no other entity can get the benefit from that asset or use the asset. Only he can use the asset. Now, what are the benefits? Benefits that can flow to the customer. Benefits of an asset are the potential cash flows, inflows, or it can be savings that can be obtained directly, indirectly in many ways, such as by using the asset to produce the goods or provide services. So he can use that. Using the asset to enhance the value of other assets. He can use it to enhance the value of other assets, maybe in his factory. So unless that machine or equipment he purchases, he cannot start using the factory. So that enhances the value of other assets. Using the assets to settle liabilities or reduce expenses. He can use it to pay off liabilities or to reduce his expenses. That is savings. Selling or exchanging the asset, he can sell it further. He can pledge and obtain a loan. He can hold the asset. So benefits can be many. So basically, what are the benefits that arise to a customer from using the asset, from getting the asset is this. So that is when we say that as he's getting benefits, so he's controlling the asset. In addition, an entity shall consider indicators of the transfer of control. So entity point of view, what are the indicators that will tell them that this is the point at which control is transferring, which include but are not limited to. There can be many cases. So as you know, contract can be structured in any way. So there can be various points at which control can be transferred. So these are a few examples, 5 examples they are given. Entity has a present right to payment for the asset. So as entity maybe has completed certain part or the whole asset, that is either they have delivered the service or they have transferred the good, they have right to receive payment. That is when you can say control has been transferred, because now we have the right to get the payment of that. Customer has legal title to the asset. Customer has the title. Entity has transferred physical possession. Physical possession is transferred. Customer has the significant risk and rewards of ownership of the asset. Normally you say that risk transfers with ownership. So in a sale contract, as per the Sale of Goods Act also, that the risk in the contract transfers with ownership. So when the buyer gets the ownership of the good, it is said that it is now his risk. So if the goods get damaged after that point, it will be the buyer's risk. Before that, it is the seller's risk. So if the risks are transferred, then it is obviously under the control of the buyer. Customer has accepted the asset. He has accepted. He has taken the asset. Or he says that this is from this point, it is my asset. So these are the various points where control can shift, and that is where we can recognize revenue. Now, as I discussed, the important point here is basically we are in the 5th step. Okay. So in this, the 5th step is we have to understand whether the performance obligation is satisfied. If yes, at what point? Is it satisfied over a period of time? As I discussed, if the contract is of 1 year, is the performance obligation satisfied every month in part? So some part of the performance obligation is satisfied over a period of months. So that is, contract is of 1 year, but you are satisfying some performance obligation, or you are giving some performance monthly. So you recognize the contract monthly, like recognize the revenue monthly. Or it is happening at a point of time, that is after 1 year only you are transferring the control. That is, after 1 year only the customer is getting the benefit. Or is he getting benefit monthly or quarterly or semi-annually? So if it is getting monthly or semi-annually or quarterly, then we say that the control is transferred over a period of time. So revenue will also be recognized over a period of time. So revenue can also be recognized monthly. In case of services, mostly, we say that every month is getting a service, like telecom service. So every month we are using the service. So the entity, that is the telecom service provider, recognize the revenue monthly. In some cases, like in transfer of goods, like plant machinery, so we can say that revenue, or we can say the performance obligation is complete only when the possession is transferred. So only then we can recognize the revenue. So it is happening only at that point of time, not over a period of time. Okay, so there are various cases. So basically there are 2 classifications: transfer of control over a period of time, so it is happening over months or over quarters, and recognize revenue as per that. Or it is happening at the point of time, at some point of time, that is after a year or after 2 years, after 3 years or whatever. So only then recognize the contract, because only then the performance is satisfied. So let's see the first one, that is transfer of control over a period of time. So when do we say that the entity has transferred control over a period of time, and so that we can recognize the revenue over a period of time, that is over the year we can recognize. So there are 3 criteria here. So if any one of the 3 is satisfied, then we can say that transfer of control is happening over time. But if none of the criteria are satisfied, then we will say that it is the control is transferred at that point of time. That is, it is not transferred monthly, or it is not transferred quarterly, or neither is transferred semi-annually. It is transferred at the end of the contract or at this point, not before that. As per Ind AS 115, very important part, so please pay attention. An entity transfers control of a good or service over time and therefore satisfies performance obligation and recognizes revenue over time. So as you are transferring control over a period of time, that is monthly maybe, therefore performance obligation is also satisfied monthly, little by little, and so revenue also you can recognize monthly. Okay. If any of the following criteria are met, what are the criteria now? Criteria A. Firstly, the customer simultaneously receives and consumes the benefits provided by the entity's performance as the entity performs, especially in case of services. So when the entity is delivering services, in any kind of service, generally the customer will receive the benefits simultaneously and consumes the service also as the entity performs it. That is one criteria. Or the entity's performance creates or enhances an asset. This is in the case of construction contract mode. So in that case, the entity is building a road or building some big office for the government. So here there are stages involved, that is work in progress. So after this stage, so they have completed one part of the performance obligation. Second stage, they have completed second part of the performance obligation. Third stage, like that. So the entity's performance creates or enhances the asset. So as they go on performing, the customer's asset is created in stages. So entity's performance creates or enhances the asset, example work in progress, that a customer controls as the asset is created or enhanced. As maybe 2 floors are constructed of a building. Suppose they are the entity is constructing a building for the government or some customer. So maybe as 2 floors are completed, obviously the customer has now a building of 2 floors. The next 2 floors are constructed. Now he has a building of 4 floors. After that, 2 floors more are constructed. 6 floors building now he has. Correct. So the asset is getting constructed or he is enhancing the value. So as he is doing that, the customer asset is getting created. So in some cases, he can start enjoying the benefits also. If 2 floors are created, maybe he can start using that also. So this is in the case of construction contract mostly, or government tenders. Criteria C is in case of, you can say, audit services. When a CA goes for audit. So now he is providing service to a client. Now suppose he has done like 70% of his work. He did 70% of the audit. And after that, the client says that we don't like your service, please stop. They remove you as an auditor. Now, obviously, whatever work you have done till now, 70% work you have done, now that cannot be used for some other entity, because audit for every entity is different, every client is different. So you have done 70% work. So obviously, for you, it is of no use now. Secondly, in the contract, when you sign the agreement, that is the engagement letter, you will say that if you stop us in between, or that is if you let us go in between, then you will have to pay for the work we have done so far, for the cost incurred at least, along with some maybe profit element also, some margin. So that is the criteria C. Here, the entity is performing. It does not create any asset with any use for the entity. So in case of like audit contract, it is not creating anything for the entity, and the entity has the enforceable right to payment for the performance completed due date. So up to date, what we have done, please pay us. So if that is the case, if the audit is stopped in between and 70% is complete and now they can claim 70% money. So in that case also they can recognize over a period of time. So that is at that point, that is over that period, they can recognize the revenue. So that is the criteria C. We'll see an example of that. That entity's performance does not create an asset. So here the entity that is who is delivering the service is not getting any asset that they can use alternatively, and they have the right to recover money for whatever cost they have incurred. If that is the case also, we'll say that the control has been transferred over a period of time, and we don't have to wait basically in this case to complete that audit engagement. So you can recognize at that time also. So even if we have not satisfied the whole performance obligation, that is we have not completed the audit, still we can recognize the revenue at that point. Now we'll see the examples, you'll understand. So criteria wise, we'll see the examples. First criteria is again criteria A. Firstly, it was customer simultaneously receives and consumes the benefits provided by the entity's performance as the entity performs. So here, the first criteria. So on each criteria, we'll be seeing examples. Customer simultaneously receives and consumes the benefit. So as the entity is delivering services or giving goods, the customer is enjoying simultaneously, like every month he is enjoying, and consumes the benefits provided by the entity's performance as the entity performs. So as the entity performs, he is enjoying it. This criteria is ordinarily applied in situations in which the benefits of seller's performance are immediately consumed by the customer. Example, routine or recurring services, in which the consumer consumes the benefit immediately as the services are performed, which means that the customer obtains control of the seller's entity's output as soon as the entity performs. So he's using it. So as you know, if he's getting the benefit of it immediately or if he's enjoying it immediately, that is control is transferred for that part. So in such situations, the entity's performance is said to be performed over a period of time. Now let's see example. So Minitech Limited is a payroll processing company. Payroll processing, basically they are providing service of payroll. Payroll is basically generating salary, maintaining records for salary, and whatever elements are there in salary, like gratuity, pension, PF, all that. So they are a payroll processing company. So maybe they have a company, some companies outsource their payroll department to this company. So Minitech Limited is a payroll processing company. Minitech Limited enters into a contract to provide monthly payroll processing services to ABC Limited for 1 year. So monthly they will be generating the payroll records for that ABC Limited, and the contract is for 1 year. Obviously here ABC Limited will enjoy the service monthly. Obviously you can say the control has been transferred over a period of time. You don't have to wait for 1 year to complete to recognize the revenue. You can start recognizing revenue every month. Determine how the entity will recognize the revenue. After every month of maybe submitting the payroll report, or they might be paying the salary also. Nowadays that also happens, that you appoint a company to do the payroll and everything, and they only pay the salaries for your employees. Nowadays all that is happening. Now there is a concept of virtual CFO. Many CA firms have started that. So they act as a virtual CFO. That is, if your entity uh, maybe is mid-size or a big company, then you can hire a CA firm to handle your processes. For example, especially the payroll department, the salaries and all, or maybe other expenses also, admin, payroll. So everything will be outsourced to that firm. So they will take care of everything. They will do the payments. They will do the recording of salaries and everything. They will do the tax. Everything will be done by them. So it's like a virtual CFO, they call it. CFO is Chief Financial Officer. So if you cannot have an in-house CFO, you can just outsource to outside CFO. That is how the CA firms are nowadays making money. So nowadays, if you see, the CA firms are going away from audit and tax. They are saying that is traditional thing. So nowadays they are earning more in management consulting. So this is part of management consulting. So here payroll processing is a single performance obligation. So actually it is a single performance obligation. Okay, there are no multiple obligations here. On a monthly basis, as Microtech is Minitech, I guess. Minitech carries out the payroll processing. The customer, ABC Limited, simultaneously receives and consumes the benefits of the entity's performance in processing each payroll transaction. So he is receiving monthly benefits. Usually the records will be generated monthly because salary will be generated monthly. Further, once the services have been performed for a particular month, in case of termination of agreement before maturity and contract is transferred to another entity, then such new entity will not need to re-perform the services for expired month. Now it can be there can be two texts on it. One is you can say ki as the criteria one suggests that the customer is enjoying the benefits. So that is one. So as he is simultaneously enjoying the benefits, you can say control is transferred. One more thing is that you can say the control is transferred when suppose in this case Minitech, okay, suppose Minitech performs 1 month service. So contract is for 1 year. They complete 1 month of service. So they generate that payroll records and everything, which helps the client to generate salary for that month, pay salary for the month of maybe April. So the contract is from April to March, and for month of April, Minitech generates the records, payroll process report or whatever. Now you can keep another check on that to see whether control has been transferred at that point or not. You can say, suppose ABC Limited, the client, cancels the contract after 1 month. If they cancel the contract of 1 month, what will happen now? And they hire some other company for payroll processing after 1 month. Now what will happen? Now the new company that will come for payroll processing obviously won't do the payroll for April again. They will continue from May because payroll for April has been done. So that means you can say ABC received the benefit of those services of that month. So you can check. Actually, nothing is happening. No new entity is coming. But you can check this way also. What happens if the entity cancels the contract prematurely, that is after 1 month only? Would the new company that will come for payroll processing do the payroll for April? No, they will continue from the remaining period. That means ABC, the client, has received service for April. That is a way of checking. Now, some people might feel why we have to check like that? The standard says. Okay. Further, once the services have been performed for a particular month, that is April, for example, in case of termination of agreement before maturity, that is if the ABC Limited terminates the contract after that, and a contract is transferred to another entity, maybe some other company for payroll, then such new entity will not need to re-perform the services for the expired months. For the April, they won't have to re-perform. Therefore, it satisfies the first criteria, that is services completed on monthly basis are consumed by the entity at the same time, and as the revenue shall be recognized over the period of time. So you can say that ABC consumed the services. That is why the new entity that will come for payroll doesn't have to again do the payroll for April. That means ABC has enjoyed. That is one way of understanding whether the control has been transferred or not. They have said that for certain performance obligations, an entity may not be readily able to identify whether a customer simultaneously receives or consumes the benefit from entity's performance as the entity performs. Sometimes it will not be that simple. So here we can clearly say na, ki one monthly he is enjoying, but in some case it is not that clear. So in that case, we will use this, the second assumption, that what happens if the contract ends here and new entity joins, new entity takes over the contract, then what happens? Will they have to re-perform the original contract, or they will continue from that period? If that period from they are continuing, then that means the customer has received the service. He has enjoyed the benefit. That is one way of understanding. So for certain performance obligations, an entity may not be able to readily identify. So it is not that easy to identify whether a customer enjoys benefit or not. So whether a customer simultaneously receives and consumes the benefits from the entity's performance as the entity performs. In such cases, a performance obligation is satisfied over time if an entity determines that another entity would not need to substantially reperform the work that the entity has completed to date if that other entity were to fulfill the remaining performance obligation to the. This point is not important. So they have given the what you have to assume when you are comparing with the new entity. One more example of criteria one. T&L Limited. T&L Limited is a logistic company. So like a FedEx that provides inland and sea transportation service. A customer Horizon Limited enters into contract with TL for contract for transportation of its goods from India to Sri Lanka through sea, through ship. So basically, entity here is TNL Limited. The client is the Horizon Limited. The contract is for transportation of goods from India to Sri Lanka from by ship. The voyage is expected to take 20 days from Mumbai to Colombo. TNL is responsible for shipping the goods from Mumbai port to Colombo port. Whether TNL's performance obligation is met over a period of time. So do we say here that performance obligation is met over a period of time? Or do we say that only after 20 days we can say the contract is complete? Now, first of all, it is a single performance obligation that it is India to Sri Lanka transportation. But again, in this case, even if it is a 20-day period, it can be a 2-3 month period also sometimes when the distance is long. Still, in this case, we can say the criteria one is satisfied because as each day passes, the distance between India and Sri Lanka is reducing. So the contract is progressing. So using the second assumption in the first question, we can say that suppose the transportation starts from Mumbai. Okay, it starts from Mumbai port, and it is heading towards Sri Lanka. Maybe it reaches Goa, maybe. Okay, it reaches Goa along the seashore. Suppose at Goa, Horizon decides to cancel the contract. They can do that. So already the goods have been brought till Goa. Now the new entity that will take over the goods from that point obviously won't have to start from Mumbai again. They will continue from Goa to Colombo. So as the entity is delivering the service, the contract is progressing day by day. So you can say that Horizon is getting the benefit of it as the goods are reaching closer to Sri Lanka, that is Colombo. So in this case, we can say that the performance obligation or the control is transferred over a period of time. So we can recognize the revenue over a period of time. T&L has a single performance to ship the goods from one port to another. The following factors are critical for assessing how services performed by T&L are consumed by the customer. How is consuming, how is enjoying the benefits. As the voyage is performed, the service undertaken by T&L is progressive, such that no entity will need to reperform the service till so far as the voyage has been performed. So till what point they have reached, if they transfer the goods to some new entity, if the customer says so, then that entity will not have to again start from the original point. They will continue from that point. Let's Goa, for example. If T&L was to deliver only part way, so if the customer tells you stop here, now hand over the goods to some other entity. The customer is directly benefiting from the performance of voyage as and when it progresses. So it's benefiting. But in this case, it is difficult to identify at when is the point of time when the customer is receiving benefit. So that is why we can use the second assumption. Second assumption is when we assume that if the contract ends at that point, can we say that the customer has enjoyed till now? And we can conclude that from the point that if a new entity takes over from that point, would they continue from that point or will they start from the original point? So in this case, obviously they'll start from whatever point TL has left the goods at. Therefore, such performance obligation is said to be met over a period of time. So we'll say over a period of time. We can recognize revenue over a period of 20 days also. Or maybe after every 5th day, we can start recognizing some part of the revenue as the ship reaches some point in the journey. Criteria B, construction contract wala. The entity's performance creates or enhances an asset. For example, work in progress. Work in progress is basically when you are constructing some asset, building, plant, machinery, that the customer controls as the asset is created or enhanced. So entity's performance creates or enhances an asset, and whatever the asset the customer controls is created or enhanced. So they create an asset for the customer, or the asset that is in existence is enhanced. In such cases, the customer ordinarily obtains control of the asset whose work is in progress, and therefore the entity carrying out the work can recognize revenue over a period of time. So as they are building, the customer asset is getting created. So for example, as we discussed, the contract is for constructing a building. So as they are building part by part, an asset is getting created for the customer. So ordinarily, this criteria is applied to the following types of contracts with customers. First is construction contracts, wherein the contractor engages to construct a specific asset for customer on customer's land. So anyways, you are constructing on customer's land. So you are constructing a building on his land. So obviously it is his asset is getting created. So on his land, you are creating an asset. So whatever you build there, it is his asset. Contracts with government, wherein the government agency is ordinarily entitled to any work in progress performed by the service provider, maybe a road contract or a bridge contract. So the government can make use of that part. If part of the road is constructed, the government can start using that. They can open the road also for the vehicle. Criteria C, there is no example for criteria B because basic contract, construction contract wala example. Criteria C is again that audit services wala or any other service can be here. The entity's performance does not create an asset with an alternative use to entity. So there is no asset created for the entity which can be used by the entity. And the entity has an enforceable right to payment for performance completed till date. The entity can ask for payment of whatever they have performed till date. So this criteria is especially used when criteria A and B are not met. This is the last criteria. Where a customer does not meet either criterion A or B, the seller entity evaluates the third and last criterion to determine if performance obligation is satisfied over a period of time. If third criteria is also not met, then we will not say that the performance obligation is met over time. We'll say it is met at that point. That is after 2 years, after 1 year, like that. Now let's see an example of that. This is my example that audit firm wala. AFS Limited is a risk advisory firm and enters into contract with a company. So it's a firm that enters into contract with the company, WBC Limited, to provide audit services that result in AFS issuing an audit opinion to the company. So it's a firm. Okay? So normally it cannot be limited actually. It has to be a firm, but okay, they have given the name as limited. So the service is to deliver the audit opinion. The professional opinion relates to facts and circumstances that are specific to company. Obviously, audit opinion differs from company to company. If the company was to terminate the consulting contract for reasons other than the entity's failure to perform as promised, the contract requires the company to recompensate the risk advisory firm for its cost incurred plus a 15% margin. So in the contract only they have stated that if WBC was to remove AFS in between without any failure on their part, that is the firm's part, then WBC will be paying for whatever cost AFS has incurred till date plus a 15% margin on that. Suppose they have incurred 1 lakh cost till date plus 15%. That is 1,15,000 they will have to pay. The 15% margin approximates the profit margin that the entity earns for similar contracts. Normally, they earn 15% margin. They are charging that much for the contract. Whether risk advisory firm's performance obligation met over a period of time. Now, this is again criteria 3. So here, as AFS is providing service, no asset is generated for the entity which they can use, as they are just making the audit report. So even if the audit report is complete, they cannot use it for themselves. Neither they can use it for some other entity. Plus, in this case, the contract also says that they can get payment for whatever work they have done. Plus, they can get a margin also. So this is easily satisfying criteria 3. So we can say that the obligation is met over a period of time. They can recognize the revenue over a period of time. In this case, because no matter what happens, they are gonna get that much revenue. So even if they don't complete the audit, they are getting the revenue. So AFS here has a single performance, that is the audit service, to provide an opinion on the professional audit services proposed to be provided under the contract with the customer. Evaluating the criteria for recognizing revenue over a period of time or at a point in time. So we have to understand key, should we recognize the revenue over a period of time or at the point of time? So only when the service is complete. Ind AS 115 requires one of the following criteria to be met. Now we will evaluate each of the criteria. As you know, only when the first two criteria are not satisfied, go for the third. Criteria 1 is, you can say, when the customer is simultaneously receives and consumes the benefit. Now, a customer cannot receive the benefit of audit report simultaneously. Only when it is complete, he will get it. Okay. So first criteria is not satisfied. Also, if the contract is terminated, the second assumption, the contract is terminated and new entity is appointed. So if they terminate this auditor and appoint some other auditor, obviously the re-audit again, he has to start from the beginning. So again, for that also criteria 1 is not satisfied. So criteria A, where the customer simultaneously receives and consumes the benefits from services provided from AFS. Company shall benefit only when the audit opinion is provided upon completion. And in case contract was to be terminated, any other firm engaged to perform the services without to simultaneously or substantially re-perform. They will start from the beginning only. So criteria A is not satisfied. Criteria B, asset created that customer controls. So this is not a construction contract, neither it is a government contract where they are creating an asset that the customer controls. They are not building any plant machinery or building on the customer's land or something. No, nothing is created. This is a service contract and no asset is created for which customer has control. Now, third criteria is no alternative use to the entity and right to seek payment. Yes, that is meeting. That services provided by AFS are specific to company, WBC, and do not have any alternate use for AFS. Secondly, AFS has right to reinforce payment or enforce payment if the contract was terminated early for reasons other than AFS failure to perform. So whatever happens, they are getting that much revenue only. They can recognize over that period. And the profit margin also approximates normal profit margin. Therefore, criteria C is met and such performance obligation is said to be met over a period of time. So you can recognize revenue with this. If any of the thing is not satisfied, like no asset is created and neither they are going to receive payment, then you cannot say they are receiving over a period of time. Again, for criteria, I guess C, this question is about Space Limited enters into an arrangement with a government agency for construction of a space satellite. What they are making? A space satellite for government agency. Although Space Limited is in business for building such satellites for various customers across the world, however, the specifications for each satellite may vary based on technology that is incorporated in the satellite. Now, they are making satellites for various customers, but every customer's requirement varies. Basically, you can say that whatever asset they are building cannot have any alternate use. Neither they can use it, neither they can give it to someone else. Now the second criteria has to be satisfied. That is third criteria. May second assumption has to be satisfied that they will get payment for whatever has done if the government agency cancels the contract in between. In event of termination, the company has right to reinforce payment for work completed date. I think criteria C is met. Evaluate if contract will qualify for satisfaction of performance obligation over a period of time. I think yes. So again, 1 2 is not there. Case C, no alternate use to entity and right to seek payment. Yes, the asset is being specifically created for the customer. The asset is customized to customer's requirement. When you say customized, that obviously no other person can use, such that diversion from a for a diversion for a different customer will require significant work. If you want to divert that to a different customer, that same satellite, then he will not accept as it is. You have to significantly work on the satellite, make changes in that. Therefore, the asset has practical limitation in being put to alternate use. Secondly, the Space Limited has a right to enforce payment if contract was already terminated for reasons other than Space Limited's failure to perform. Reason other than that is, unless Space Limited is responsible for the termination, then they will not get payment. But for any other reasons, the government agency terminates in between, then they will obviously give payment. So I think criteria C is met. So you can say the performance obligation is met over a period of time. They can recognize the revenue over that period. Because anyways, they are going to get that much money, whatever happens. Then profit margin might be there or might not be there, but they're at least getting whatever they have spent. Are you understanding till now what is happening? Criteria ABC. Second Kalte. Any doubts till now? Okay. Yes, Ishan, are you understanding? Please say yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Illustration 48. ABC Limited enters into contract with customer to build an item of equipment. Contract is to build an item of equipment. Customer pays 10% advance. 10% advance they are paying, and then 80% in 80% in installments of 10% each over a period of construction, with balance 10% payable at the end of the construction period. So basically, what is happening? The contract is of 1 crore. Contract amount is of 1 crore. The customer is paying 10 lakhs in advance, then 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh, maybe in 8 installments, and then 10 lakhs at the end of the completion. So basically, he's paying the installments over 10 periods. So maybe over 10 months he's paying. Or basically he's paying, making 10 payments. Okay. So over the period of contract, he's making 10 payments. 10% before, then 8 payments of 10%, and last May again 10%. So it adds up to 100%. So the contract is to build an equipment. Payments are non-refundable unless the company fails to perform as per the contract. Normally they are non-refundable unless the ABC into only fails to perform the contract from their side. There is a major problem from their side. Further, if customer terminates the contract, if customer only terminates, then the entity entitled to retain the payment. Then they don't have to refund the payment whatever has received. So after maybe like 40% payments, if the customer thinks that we want to cancel, the entity ABC doesn't have to refund anything. The company will have no further right to compensation from the customer. Now this is an important point, very important point. Now, suppose after 20% payment, the client has paid 20% advance and then 1 month completion under 10% and a pay 20% they have paid and they cancel the contract. Now ABC doesn't have to refund 20%. Neither they can claim any further right to compensation. ह्याच्यामध्ये एक छोटासा हलका पॉइंट आहे आणि तो पॉइंट असा आहे की सपोज तुम्ही काम केलंय 40%, तुम्ही काम केलंय 40%, कस्टमरने तुम्हाला आतापर्यंत 20%च पेमेंट दिलंय, त्याचे जे काय तो 10% देतोय, पण तुम्ही काम जास्त केलंय, तुम्ही 40% काम केलंय, पण तुम्हाला पेमेंट त्याने 20%च दिली आहे. त्याने तुमचा कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट कॅन्सल केला. तुम्ही ते 20% ठेवू शकता, त्याच्या व्यतिरिक्त तुम्ही काही मागू नाही शकत. तो प्रॉब्लेम काय होतोय की तुम्ही 40% काम केलं, तुम्ही जेवढं काम केलं त्याचे तुम्हाला पैसे नाही मिळाले, तुम्हाला कमी पैसे मिळत आहेत. So chances are that you might have completed 60% of the work, but he has still paid only 20%. त्याने म्हटलंय 10%, पण कधी पे केलं असं काही सांगितलं नाही, तरी हा 10% देणार आहे. त्याच्यामुळे there are chances की you might not recover whatever you have spent. There are chances. तो क्रायटेरिया सी नाही मॅच होत आहे इकडे. पहिली क्रायटेरिया पण नाहीये, कारण कस्टमरला काय बेनिफिट मिळत नाही, कारण इक्विपमेंट बनल्याशिवाय त्याला काय फायदा नाहीये. सेकंडली सेकंड क्रायटेरिया पण नाहीये, कारण इथे आयटम ऑफ इक्विपमेंट आहे. ओके, तो नॉर्मली इक्विपमेंट अशी गोष्ट आहे की तो कम्प्लीट करूनच तो ट्रान्सफर करणार. थर्डली अगेन वॉट एव्हर इक्विपमेंट ही इज बिल्डिंग, कदाचित त्याचा यूज त्याला होऊ शकेल एबीसीला, एबीसी कॅन यूज इट अल्टरनेटिव्हली, दुसऱ्या कस्टमरला देऊ शकतो. तो ती एक क्रायटेरिया पण सॅटिस्फाय होत नाही की देर इज नो अल्टरनेटिव्ह यूज टू एबीसी. हॅव दे सेड नो, मे बी दे कॅन यूज. ऑल्सो दे कॅनॉट क्लेम पेमेंट फॉर वॉट एव्हर दे हॅव डन, बिकॉज जसा कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट थांबवला ह्याच्या पुढे 1 रुपया मागता येत नाही, जे मिळाले ते ठेवून द्या. So it is not meeting criteria C also. So it is not meeting any criteria logically. So इथे काय करायचं अशा केसमध्ये, ओनली वेन द कंट्रोल इज ट्रान्सफर्ड ऍट दॅट पॉइंट, म्हणजे मे बी जेव्हा इक्विपमेंट कम्प्लीट करून देईल कस्टमरला, ऍट दॅट पॉइंट मे बी 1 वर्ष 2 वर्ष जे काय असेल, तेव्हाच यू कॅन रेकग्नाइज द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट रेव्हेन्यू. दॅट इज ओनली वेन यू कॅन से द परफॉर्मन्स ऑब्लिगेशन इज कम्प्लीट. बिकॉज कुठचाही क्रायटेरिया इकडे मीट होत नाही. Criteria A, whether customer simultaneously receives and consumes the benefits. Customer can benefit only when the asset is fully constructed and no benefits are consumed as it's constructed. Hence the criteria is not met. Customer ला काय बेनिफिट मिळतो याचा while it is constructed? No. Criteria B, asset created that customer controls, त्याच्या कंट्रोल मध्ये काहीच येत नाहीये. The customer does not require control of the asset as it is created. त्याच्याकडे काही कंट्रोल येत नाही, acquire होत नाहीये त्याच्याकडे काही, काम मध्ये म्हटलं नाहीये. No alternate use to entity and right to seek payment. Customer has specific right over the asset. Company does not have right to divert it for any alternate use. In other words, there is a contractual restriction to use the asset for any alternate purpose. कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट मध्ये तरी असं म्हटलंय का की दुसऱ्या यूज साठी वापरू नाही शकत? असं म्हटलं तर नाहीये, पण त्याने अज्युम केलंय मे बी. ठीक आहे, एनिवेज काय फरक पडत नाही, कारण पुढचा क्रायटेरिया मीट होत नाहीये. सो वी कॅन से की सॅटिस्फाय होतंय की मे बी कस्टमर साठीच बिल्ड करतो, तर नाही पण करत आहे. ठीक आहे, दुसऱ्यासाठी पण यूज होऊ शकतो. ओके, पण हे मीट होत नाहीये ना. इन द इव्हेंट ऑफ ऑर्डर टर्मिनेशन, company has right to retain any payments made by the customer. However, such payment need not necessarily compensate the selling price of partially constructed asset. But it need not give you the full amount of whatever work you have done. पण तुम्ही 40% काम केले, पण तुम्हाला पैसे 20%च मिळाले, तुम्ही पुढचे नाही मागू शकत. That is one problem. If the customer was to stop making payments. Therefore, company does not have a legally enforceable right to payment for work completed to date, and a criteria under 35 para is not satisfied. That is criteria C basically. Thus, revenue cannot be recognized over a period of time. Basically, हा पॉइंट मीट होत नाही. मग हे अल्टरनेट यूज साठी होऊ शकतं का, नाही होऊ शकतं, पण हा पॉइंट मीट होत नाही. दोन्ही पॉइंट मीट व्हायला पाहिजे. क्रायटेरिया सीचं ते अख्खी सेंटेन्स मीट झाली पाहिजे.
सर क्रायटेरिया, अच्छा म्हणजे आताच तुम्ही बोललात क्रायटेरिया सी मध्ये दोन्ही फुलफिल व्हायला पाहिजे ना ते?
येस,
ओके.
ती लाईनच तशी आहे ना,
तेवढंच
ती लाईनच तशी आहे. टू सी क्रायटेरिया सी ची लाईनच आहे, आपण पहिल्यांदाच बघितलं. तसं लॉ मध्ये कसं आहे, प्रत्येक वर्डला मिनिंग द्यायला लागतो, तशा टाईपच आहे, कारण शेवटी स्टँडर्ड इज ऑल्सो लॉ ओनली. थोडं कम्प्लाय विथ इट. ही लाईन काय, the entity's performance does not create an asset with an alternative use to the entity, and the entity has enforceable right to payment for performance completed to date. and हे दोन्ही झालं, सॅटिस्फाय झालं पाहिजे. आता ऍक्च्युअली जर आपण असं जरी म्हटलं ना की एंटिटीज परफॉर्मन्स डज नॉट क्रिएट एन ऍसेट टू अल्टरनेटिव्ह यूज. जर अल्टरनेटिव्ह यूज वाला पण असेल ना तरी पण यू कॅन से क्रायटेरिया सी इज नॉट मेट. पण आता या सम मध्ये त्याने हा पॉईंट असल्यामुळे हा पॉईंट हायलाइट करण्यासाठी त्याने या पॉईंटवर जोर नाही दिलाय. तर असंही म्हणू शकतो की याचा अल्टरनेटिव्ह आहे, पण इथे त्याने ह्या सम मध्ये याच्यावर जोर दिलाय कारण त्याला पेमेंट पूर्ण मिळत नाहीये. देर कॅन बी चान्स दॅट ही हॅज कम्प्लीटेड मोर पर्सेंटेज वर्क, 50% काम केलंय पण पेमेंट 20% झाली, 30% झाली, पूर्ण पेमेंट ही कॅनॉट क्लेम ना. तर आतापर्यंतचं कसं होतं कॉन्ट्रॅक्टमध्ये ऑडिटमध्ये वगैरे की ऍटलीस्ट तू कधी पण थांबव पण तू जेवढं काम केलं त्याचे पैसे दे. सो यू आर नॉट शुअर की किती पैसे मिळणार, 10% मिळणार का 20% मिळणार आणि तू किती काम करणार आहेस. तर त्याच्यामुळे इट इज नॉट ओव्हर पिरियड ऑफ टाइम. ओनली वेन ऍक्च्युअली द एंटिटी ट्रान्सफर्स कंट्रोल ऑफ द इक्विपमेंट यू रेकग्नाइज द रेव्हेन्यू. तर एवढं सगळं बघायला लागतं ऍक्च्युअली. तो हलका सेंटेन्स आहे याच्यात, एक सेंटेन्स आहे याच्यानं सगळं मिनिंग येते. द कंपनी विल नॉट हॅव फर्दर राईट टू कॉम्पेन्सेशन फ्रॉम द कस्टमर. पटकन कळत पण नाही. आता हे तर आतापर्यंत आपण असंच बोलतोय की ओव्हर अ पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, ओव्हर अ पिरियड ऑफ टाइम और ऍट अ पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. पण मेजर कसं करायचं, मंथली म्हणताय तुम्ही किंवा क्वार्टरली म्हणताय, तर मेजर कसं करूया. त्यासाठी मेथड आहेत, आउटपुट मेथड, इनपुट मेथड. याच्यातलं इम्पॉर्टंट मेथड आहे इनपुट मेथड. बेसिकली रेव्हेन्यू टू बी रेकग्नाइज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ एंटिटीज एफर्ट्स, की त्याने किती काम केलं. इनपुट इन द सर्व्हिस और द गुड्स. सो इनपुट मेथड मध्ये म्हटलंय दिस इज द मेथड ऑफ मेजरिंग प्रोग्रेस ऑफ परफॉर्मन्स ऑब्लिगेशन सॅटिस्फाईड ओव्हर टाइम. सो ओव्हर टाइम जर असेल म्हणजे आपण म्हणतोय की आता आपण एक्झाम्पल बघितलं की ओव्हर टाइम क्रायटेरिया 1, 2, 3 सॅटिस्फाईड असतील तर इनपुट मेथड वापरून तुम्ही रेकग्नाइज करू शकता रेव्हेन्यू. Recognize revenue on the basis of entities efforts or inputs to the satisfaction of performance obligations. So किती inputs टाकलेत. Inputs can be labor hours, material consumed, आतापर्यंतची कॉस्ट किती इन्कर्ड आहे, किती टाइम एलॅप्स्ड आहे, मशीन अवर्स. बेसिकली आपण नॉर्मली टाइम एलॅप्स बघतो, मंथ, एक महिना झाला, क्वार्टर झाला, आपण ते बघतो. दॅट इज इनपुट, नथिंग बट. Input method. If the entity's efforts or inputs are expended evenly throughout the performance period, it will be appropriate for the entity to recognize revenue on straight line basis. Straight line म्हणजे काय की कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट सपोज वर्षाचा आहे. ओके, सपोज जिमचा कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट आहे की आय एम अ जिम आणि तुम्ही आता कस्टमर आहात आणि तुम्हाला मी वर्षभराचं कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट दिलाय. सो आय माइट रेकग्नाइज इट मंथली ओव्हर द पिरियड ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट. स्ट्रेट लाईन. Measuring progress on straight line basis. An entity, an owner and manager of health clubs. Health club म्हणजे kind of gym पकड. Enters into contract with a customer for 1 year of access to any of its health clubs. त्यांचे वेगवेगळे हेल्थ क्लब्स आहेत. जसं कंट्री क्लबचं मध्ये खूप दिसत नाही. तो कंट्री क्लबचं खूप ठिकाणी आउटलेट्स होते, त्यांचे जिम्स होते कुठे कुठे. सो इफ यू बिकम अ कंट्री क्लब मेंबर, कधी होऊ नका पण चुकून पण. आय थिंक इट्स अ फ्रॉड कंपनी. तर तुम्ही सपोज कंट्री क्लबची मेंबरशिप घेतली असते तर तुम्हाला त्याच्या कुठच्याही ब्रांचला जाऊन तुम्ही त्याचे बेनिफिट घेऊ शकता. सो इकडे कसं आहे की नॉर्मली कसं असतं की तुम्ही आपण जेव्हा जिम वगैरे जॉईन करतो तेव्हा त्याच तिकडे जायला लागतो कारण इट्स ओनली स्मॉल जिम. पण जरी त्यांची मोठी चेन असेल तर तुम्ही त्या कार्डवर तुम्ही कुठचाही ऍक्सेस करू शकता. An entity, an owner and manager of health clubs enters into contract with customer for 1 year to access any of its health clubs. The customer has unlimited use of health clubs and promises to pay 100 per month. असं बघूया. CU 100 per month. रुपीज ऍक्च्युअली आला पाहिजे तिकडे पण ते CU झालंय, ते करन्सी आलंय तिकडे. 100 per month. ठीक आहे, or 10,000 month, whatever. The customer has unlimited use of the health club and promises to pay 100 per month. The entity's promise to the customer is to provide a service of making the health clubs available for the customer to use as and when the customer wishes. आता कसं आहे जिमच्या केसमध्ये कसं असतं की जिम त्याने उघडलंय, त्यांचा टायमिंग असेल. आजकाल तर 24 अवर जिम पण असतात. मग कस्टमरला सांगितलं तुम्हाला जेव्हा यायचं तेव्हा या, तुम्ही फी भरली आहे, तुम्ही कधी पण येऊन यूज करा, पूर्ण वर्षभर तुमचं आहे मेंबरशिप. तो जिम तर ते उघडून ठेवलंय त्यांनी. सो दे आर मेकिंग द सर्व्हिस अवेलेबल. आता कस्टमर जस्ट हॅज टू कम अँड बेनिफिट, त्याच्यासाठी आहेच ओपन. Now evaluate if the contract will qualify for satisfaction of performance obligation over a period of time. Definitely yes, कारण पूर्ण वर्षभर तो काय कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट बेनिफिट करतोय. If yes, how should an entity measure its performance of service provided? Straight line method, input basis, monthly, over a period of time, monthly. Applying the first criteria to establish if customer simultaneously receives and benefits consumes the benefit as the entity provides service, the health club provides service or provides access to services uniformly throughout the year. So customer definitely is getting benefits as per criteria 1. जिमला तुम्ही फी भरल्या तुम्ही स्टार्ट यूज करू शकता. The extent to which the customer uses the health clubs does not affect the amount of remaining goods and services to which the customer is entitled. तो कसा यूज करू शकतो, ह्याच्याने काय फरक पडत नाही. त्याने आता जास्त यूज केला, पहिल्या महिन्यातच भरपूर यूज केला म्हणून पुढच्या महिन्यात तो येऊ नाही शकत असं काही नाही. The customer therefore simultaneously receives and consumes the benefits of the entity's performance as it performs by making the health clubs available. एंटिटीच्या साईडने त्यांचा परफॉर्मन्स काय की दे आर मेकिंग द हेल्थ क्लब अवेलेबल. त्यांच्या साईडने त्यांचं त्यांनी जिम उघड ठेवलंय. Consequently, the entity's performance obligation is satisfied over time. त्याच्यामुळे काय यू कॅन से दॅट परफॉर्मन्स ऑब्लिगेशन सॅटिस्फाईड ओव्हर टाइम. आता ह्याच्यावर एक मला पॉईंट लक्षात आलं की आता सध्या जिम्स बंद आहेत, बरोबर. तर जिकडे जिकडे लोकांच्या मेंबरशिप्स आहेत ते बंद आहेत. सो बेस्ड ऑन दॅट द कस्टमर्स कॅन डिमांड की तुमच्या साईडने तुम्ही परफॉर्मन्स दिला नाही. मी जिम सपोज ज्यांनी कोणी आता लोक जानेवारीमध्ये जिमची मेंबरशिप घेतात, जॅन न्यू इयर रेझोल्युशन वगैरे, तर त्यांनी जॅन पासून घेतलं असेल वर्षभराचं, जॅन टू डिसेंबर, क्लिअरली एप्रिल पासून तर जिम बंदच आहे. सो दे कॅन डिमांड की आमची तुम्ही मेंबरशिप पुढच्या वर्षी एक्सटेंड करा. इफ एव्हरीथिंग गोज बॅक टू नॉर्मल, सो दे कॅन से की आमची जिम मेंबरशिप तुम्ही एक्सटेंड करा फ्रॉम ऍटलीस्ट फॉर 8 months बिकॉज तुमच्या साईडने परफॉर्मन्स झाला नाही, तुम्ही जिम उघडं नव्हतं ठेवलं. सो दॅट कॅन द कस्टमर्स कॅन डिमांड दॅट वे. आणि काय काय लोक एक्सटेंड करतीलही त्यांना परवडत असेल तर, बिकॉज त्यांच्या साईडने परफॉर्मन्स नाही झाला ना. त्यांच्या साईडने परफॉर्मन्स काय, जिम उघड ठेवणं. माझ्या साईडने मग मी कधी पण जाऊन घेऊ शकतो, कधी पण जाऊन आय कॅन बेनिफिट फ्रॉम द सर्व्हिस. मी नाही पण जाऊ शकतो, असं काही नाही की लोक जिमची फीस भरतात पण जात नाही. दॅट इज ऑल्सो दे, पण ऍटलीस्ट त्यांच्या साईडने ओपन आहे, यू कॅन बेनिफिट एनी टाइम. सो यू कॅन से परफॉर्मन्स ऑब्लिगेशन इज सॅटिस्फाईड ओव्हर टाइम. सो वन्स द पॅटर्न ऑफ सॅटिस्फाईंग परफॉर्मन्स ऑब्लिगेशन डिफाईन, की वी नो की हा वर्षभराचा कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट आहे, तो पेमेंट मंथलीच करतोय. द कंपनी देन डिटरमाइन्स हाऊ प्रोग्रेस शुड बी मेजर. आता मेजर कसं करायचं. The services are uniformly provided to the customer throughout the year. Therefore, the best measure of progress is to recognize the revenue on straight line basis over the year. Straight line basis म्हणजे मंथली, ओव्हर द इयर म्हणजे मंथलीच तुम्ही करणार किंवा क्वार्टरली करा. जर तो क्वार्टरली पे करतो तर क्वार्टरली करा, कसं पण. आता काही काही जिम्स तर क्वार्टरली पण असतात. आता पार्ल्यामध्ये एक जिम आहे प्रबोधनकर ठाकरे म्हणून, ते 3-3 महिन्याचं पण घेतात. आय थिंक 1 महिना त्यांच्याकडे नाहीच आहे, 3 monthsचं ते घेतात. तसं दे कॅन रेकग्नाइज इफ दे वॉन्ट. We have reached illustration 50. Uninstalled materials. हा एक जबरदस्त एक्झाम्पल आहे. ऍक्च्युली नंबर्स वर दिसते जरा बरं वाटतं, थिअरी वरून थोडं बाहेर आल्यासारखं वाटतं, तुम्हालाही बरं वाटत असेल. On 1st Jan 2001, an entity contracts to renovate a building, including the installation of elevators, of new elevators. बिल्डिंग नवीन बांधायची आहे, नवीन बांधायची म्हणजे रिनोव्हेट करायचे, सॉरी रिकन्स्ट्रक्ट करायचे, आणि त्याच्यात लिफ्ट पण टाकायची, एलिव्हेटर्स. आता 2 गोष्टी याच्यामध्ये. एलिव्हेटर्स आजकाल मला वाटतं श्नायडर का कुठच्याही कंपनीचं येतं, शिंडलर काही कंपनीचं आहे, दॅट इज द फेमस वन. आणि ह्याच्या पण येतं, हिताची विताचीचं पण येतात एलिव्हेटर्स. सो एलिव्हेटर्सचं काय, ते विकत घेणार आणि लावणार. दॅट इज लाईक अ गुड दॅट इज ट्रान्सफर्ड इन द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट. एलिव्हेटर इज लाईक अ गुड, विकत घेतलं लावलं. जनरली काय असतं, एलिव्हेटर वगैरे लावायचं असेल ना, तर दे विल जस्ट बाय द एलिव्हेटर अँड ब्रिंग इट टू द साईड ऑफ द कस्टमर. So when you bring it to the side of the customer, it is in the control of the customer only. कारण तुम्ही लिटरली त्याच्या इकडे आणून ठेवलंय, त्याच्या कंट्रोलमध्ये आलं ते. सो ते एलिव्हेटर इज अ डिफरंट पार्ट ऑल टुगेदर. आता राहिलं रेनोव्हेशन, बिल्डिंगचं रेनोव्हेशन, रिकन्स्ट्रक्शन जे काय आहे, रिपेअर करताय तुम्ही, रिडेव्हलपमेंट. रिनोव्हेट म्हटलं, रिनोव्हेट म्हणजे रिडेव्हलपमेंट नाही ना, बेसिक रिकन्स्ट्रक्शन, लिफ्ट पण ते घालतायत. ओके, रिडेव्हलपमेंट म्हणजे अख्खच तोडून परत नवीन, दॅट इज नॉट देअर, ते जास्त झालं. सो इथे ट्रान्झॅक्शन प्राइस 50 lakhs. ह्याच्यामध्ये कॉस्ट ऑफ द एंटिटी इज एलिव्हेटरचे 15 लाख आणि बाकीचे कॉस्ट आहेत 25 lakhs, जे रेनोव्हेशनचे कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट आहेत, सिमेंटिंग अँड ऑल दॅट, 25 lakhs. टोटल कॉस्ट इज कमिंग टू 40 lakhs. सो दे आर गोना मेक अ प्रॉफिट ऑफ 10 lakhs. सिंपल कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट, एकदम काही टेन्शन नाही. आता एंटिटी परचेसेस द एलिव्हेटर्स and they are delivered to the site 6 months before they will be installed. So site वर straight away पोहोचलेले आहेत, सो कस्टमर कडे आलेले आहेत. तो उद्या असं येऊ शकतं की द कस्टमर कॅन से कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट कॅन्सल, एलिव्हेटर रख दो, हे पैसे एलिव्हेटर. The entity uses an input method based on cost to measure progress towards complete. त्यांचा मेथड आहे कॉस्ट टू मेजर प्रोग्रेस टुवर्ड्स कंप्लीट. म्हणजे आतापर्यंत कॉस्ट किती झाली अपॉन टोटल कॉस्ट रिक्वायर्ड, त्याप्रमाणे दे रेकग्नाइज द रेव्हेन्यू. म्हणजे बेसिकली काय त्यांचं काय आहे माहिती, एलिव्हेटरच्या केसमध्ये तर सोडून द्या तुम्ही, 15 लाख तर ते रेव्हेन्यू मध्ये आलंच, कारण दॅट इज लाईक ट्रान्सफर्ड ओनली, तर ते तुम्ही रेकग्नाइज करूच शकता. आता प्रश्न मला तो 25 लाखाचा आहे, अदर कॉस्ट, तो रेनोव्हेशन कॉस्ट आहे. आता 25 लाख इज द टोटल कॉस्ट रिक्वायर्ड फॉर रेनोव्हेशन. एंटिटीचं काय आहे, त्याने म्हटलं कॉस्ट टू मेजर प्रोग्रेस टुवर्ड्स कम्प्लिशन, हा मेथड वापरतात. म्हणजे काय की आतापर्यंत कॉस्ट किती झाली, म्हणजे फॉर एक्झाम्पल पहिल्या वर्षी सपोज 5 लाख किंवा 10 लाख कॉस्ट झाली असेल फर्स्ट इयर, तर 10 लाख अपॉन 25 lakhs इंटू 100 किती पर्सेंट होतं, तेवढं पर्सेंट यू कॅन रेकग्नाइज द रेव्हेन्यू. आणि रेव्हेन्यू रेकग्नाइज करताना काय करायचं, द रिमेनिंग रेव्हेन्यू, 15 लाख तुम्ही इन्व्हेस्ट करताच आहे, 15 लाख टुवर्ड्स एलिव्हेटर्स यू आर डुईंग. आता रेव्हेन्यू, बाकीचा रेव्हेन्यू किती आहे, 50 लाखामधून 15 लाख मायनस करा, 35 lakhs. So suppose 10 upon 25 into 100, 10 divided by 25 into 100, 40% होतं. तर 40% तुमची कॉस्ट आतापर्यंत इन्कर झाली आहे अदर कॉस्ट मध्ये. 15 lakhs तर एनिवेज तुम्ही रेकग्नाइज केलं एलिव्हेटरचं, रेकग्नाइज करालाच म्हणजे या वर्षात. कुठला किती 35 lakhs, सो 35 lakhs 40% रेकग्नाइज करा. जशी अदर कॉस्ट पुढे पुढे जाते तसं तेवढं रेकग्नाइज करा. दॅट इज हाऊ दे विल रेकग्नाइज, दॅट इज हाऊ दे आर डिसाइडेड टू रेकग्नाइज. प्रत्येक एंटिटी आपापल्या कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट प्रमाणे दे कॅन डू. How will the company recognize revenue if the performance obligation is met over a period of time? Cost to measure progress towards complete. The cost to be incurred comprise two major components. इथे दोन components आहेत, elevators and the cost of construction. Elevators are part of the overall construction project and are not distinct performance obligation. ते पण त्याच्यातलंच आहे. Cost of elevators is substantial to the overall project and are incurred well in advance. 15 लाखाचे एलिव्हेटर पोहोचलेले आहेत साईडवर. अपॉन डिलिव्हरी ॲट साईट कस्टमर एक्वायर्स कंट्रोल ऑफ द एलिव्हेटर्स. जसं साईटला पोहोचते कस्टमरचे झालेले पजेशन दिलेलं सगळं आहे ते. ओके, अँड देर इज नो मॉडिफिकेशन डन टू द एलिव्हेटर्स. एलिव्हेटर्स तसे तसे ते वापरू पण शकतात. विच द कंपनी ओनली प्रोक्युअर्स अँड डिलिव्हर्स ॲट साईट. शिंडलर वगैरे कंपन्याकडनं घेतलं आणि त्याने डिलिव्हर केलं. Nevertheless, as part of materials used in overall construction project, the company is principal in the transaction with customer for such elevators also. So त्याने म्हटलंय, nevertheless, as part of materials used in overall construction project, the company is a principal in the transaction with customer for such elevators also. So they are delivering the customer elevators also. Therefore, applying the guidance on input method, the measure of progress should be based on percentage of cost incurred relative to total budgeted cost. टोटल बजेटेड कॉस्ट किती आहे, 25 lakhs. 15 लाख तर सोडून द्या, एलिव्हेटरच्या बाजूलाच काढ. 25 lakhs अदर कॉस्ट आहे बघा, हे किती आहे, 15 लाख सोडून द्या. हे झालंय, हे रेव्हेन्यू रेकग्नाइज करू आपण लगेच, डिलिव्हरी केल्या केल्या रेव्हेन्यू रेकग्नाइज. ओके, म्हणजे फर्स्ट इयर मध्ये वी कॅन रेकग्नाइज द रेव्हेन्यू. 25 lakhs इज द अदर कॉस्ट. आणि त्याने म्हटलंय entity has incurred actual other cost of 5 lakhs by 31st March 2001. तो फर्स्ट इयर जानेवारी 2001 ला कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट सुरू झाला आणि 31 मार्च म्हणजे 3 महिन्याच्या पिरियड मध्ये 5 लाख कॉस्ट इन्कर झालेली आहे. तो या वर्षी या 3 महिन्यात ऍटलिस्ट पहिल्या वर्षी आपण त्या प्रपोर्शन मध्ये रेकग्नाइज करू. Therefore, applying the guidance on input method, the measure of progress should be made based on percentage of cost incurred relative to the total budgeted cost. Percentage of cost म्हणजे काय? 5 lakhs जी कॉस्ट इन्कर्ड आहे अपॉन 25 lakhs into 100 किती पर्सेंट येतं? 5 divided by 25 into 100 20% येतं. तेवढं रेव्हेन्यू यू कॅन रेकग्नाइज ऑन द रिमेनिंग रेव्हेन्यू. म्हणजे 15 लाख बाजूला काढा 50 मधून, 35 lakhs वर 20% यू कॅन रेकग्नाइज. 15 लाख पण रेकग्नाइज करा, 35 lakhs 20%, म्हणजे आय थिंक 7 lakhs काहीतरी येतं. The cost of elevator should be excluded when measuring such progress, and revenue for such elevator should be recognized to the extent of cost incurred. So, elevators तुम्ही रेकग्नाइज कराच आणि बाकीची कॉस्ट तुम्ही प्रपोर्शनेटली करा. तो ट्रान्झॅक्शन प्राइस आहे 50 लाख, एलिव्हेटरची कॉस्ट आहे 15 लाख. आतापर्यंत अदर कॉस्ट किती आहे? 5 लाख. त्याचं पर्सेंटेज काढू. 5 lakhs अपॉन 25 lakhs 20% येतं. आता बघा, रेव्हेन्यू टू बी रेकग्नाइज. पहिलं तर एलिव्हेटर्सचं 15 लाख पूर्ण रेकग्नाइज करा. दॅट इज द कॉस्ट इक्वल टू द कॉस्ट इन्कर्ड. फॉर कॉस्ट इन्कर्ड अदर दॅन एलिव्हेटर्स काय करा? आता बघा, 50 लाखामधून 15 बाजूला काढा, 35 lakhs उरतात. पर्सेंटेज किती आहे? 20%. त्याचं 20% घ्या. दॅट इज द रेव्हेन्यू टू रेकग्नाइज इन द फर्स्ट इयर. फर्स्ट इयर म्हणजे जॅन टू मार्च जे काय 7 lakhs. सो टोटल रेव्हेन्यू टू रेकग्नाइज दिस एलिव्हेटर्सचे पूर्ण, कारण ते तर पूर्ण त्यांच्या तुम्ही कंट्रोलला देताय, आणि 7 lakhs प्रपोर्शनेट कम्प्लिशन मध्ये 22 lakhs. Therefore, for the year ended 31st March, the company shall recognize revenue of 22 lakhs on the project. Have you understood this?
Yes, sir.
सगळ्यांना कळलंय?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So 50 sums we are complete. आता शेवटचे 6 आपले सम्स राहिलेत, ते मी उद्या घेणार आहे. आज माझं 50 सम्स पर्यंत रीच करायचं टार्गेट होतं, दॅट वी हॅव अचीव्ड. ओके, पण हा उद्याचा पार्ट मध्ये मला घ्यायचा. आय विल शो यू. 51, 52 हे थोडे वेगळे टाईपचे आहे. 53, 54, 55, 56, and then the chapter is over. ओके, आणि मग याच्यानंतर मागे याच्या आय थिंक 2-3 प्रश्न आहेत. 3च प्रश्न आहेत. ओके, सो टोटल ऑफ 59 क्वेश्चन्स इन द चॅप्टर. तर याच्यातून मिनिमम एक प्रश्न किंवा 2 प्रश्न नक्कीच येतील, कारण क्लिअरली ह्याच्यात वेटेज जास्त दिलं आहे ना. ऑलमोस्ट 109 पेजेसचा चॅप्टर आहे. सो हा चॅप्टर एकदम नीट करा. ह्याच्यातून 1-2 प्रश्न येऊ शकतो, म्हणजे मिनिमम मी सांगतो 8 ते 10 मार्क फिक्स आहे ह्याच्यातून मिनिमम. जास्त येऊ शकतो. एक तर अमेंडेड पण हे आहे, इंडियाज अमेंडेड आहे. आधी वेगळा होता याच्या आधी, म्हणजे 2-3 त्याने क्लब करून हा बनवलाय. सो व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट फ्रॉम एक्झाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्ह्यू. 10 मार्क मिळाले तर नथिंग लाईक इट. सो 50 पर्यंत आपण केलेलं आहे. सो वी हॅव सॉल्व्ड ईच अँड एव्हरी सम टिल नाव. तुमचा इग्नोर नाही केलाय, तसंच करायचा आहे अभ्यास. ओके, सो हा सम लिहायला लागेल. आय होप तुमचे बुक्स कम्प्लीट आहेत 43 पर्यंत, जिथपर्यंत आपण लास्ट टाइम केलंय. सो 50th सम बुक मध्ये गेला पाहिजे सोल्युशन. 49th ऑल्सो. आता 50th सम वगैरे जे आहेत 58, 49 हे असेच्या असं एक्झाम मध्ये येणार आहेत, तुम्हाला ते आलेच पाहिजेत. हातातले मार्क आहेत. पण कसं आहे, अभ्यास केला तर येणार, नाही तर येणार नाही. तो ज्यांनी हे मॉड्यूल वाचलंच नाहीये त्यांना कधी कळणारच नाही, कारण बाहेरचं आहे क्वेश्चन. ठीक आहे. सो 50, 49 आणि शक्यतो हेडलाईन्स पण लिहा, त्या हेडिंग्स पण लिहा. इनपुट मेथडचं पहिला पॅरा लिहायचा आहे. हा पहिला पॅरा इनपुट मेथडचा. बी ओनली फर्स्ट पॅरा. आउटपुट मेथडचा काही लिहू नका आता तरी. त्याच्यानंतर मेथड्स ऑफ मेजरिंग प्रोग्रेस मध्ये परत इनपुट मेथड वाला साइड लिहा, इनपुट मेथडची साइड लिहा फक्त. $48, $47, $46, त्याच्यानंतर हे तुम्हाला लिहायला लागेल. $46 जो सम आहे, बरोबर, 46 जो सम आहे त्याच्या आधी इट इज बेस्ड ऑन क्रायटेरिया सी, बरोबर. तर त्याच्या आधी क्रायटेरिया सी आलं पाहिजे. हा जो क्रायटेरिया आहे एवढंच आलं पाहिजे, हे 2 लाईन बस. ठीक आहे. क्रायटेरिया बी वर काय एक्झाम्पल नाही. क्रायटेरिया बी द फुल थिंग टिल ऑर्डिनरी, हे ए बी पर्यंत तुम्ही घेऊ शकता, एक्झाम्पल दिले. मग हा सम आहे 45th विच इज बेस्ड ऑन क्रायटेरिया ए. 45th and 44 these are based on criteria A. So criteria हे तुम्ही अख्खा लिहू शकता. आणि एबीसी च्या आधी तुम्ही ऍक्च्युअली क्रायटेरिया पण लिहू शकता की ट्रान्सफर ऑफ कंट्रोल ओव्हर पिरियड ऑफ टाइम, एबीसी 9.2.1 द होल थिंग. आणि 9.1 द होल थिंग. आणि स्टेप 5 पासून म्हणजे बेसिकली इथपासून हे 9 जे आहे ना, 9 इथपासून जे चालू झालं पाहिजे 9.1, 9.2, 9.2.1 टिल हिअर ओनली, इथपर्यंत. हा चार्ट वगैरे लिहायची गरज नाही. आणि मग इंडिव्हिज्युअल क्रायटेरिया बेस समजेल, हे लिहायचं, ह्याच्या खालचा सम लिहायचं. 44 हे सोल्युशनच आहे. सोल्युशन मध्ये पण हा पार्ट लिहायची गरज नाही, हा पार्ट लिहायची गरज नाही. त्याच्यानंतर 45, मग त्याच्यानंतर क्रायटेरिया बी सी. बी सी मध्ये पण सी चं फक्त फर्स्ट पॅरा, हे खालचं लिहायची गरज नाही, हे सगळं उपयोगाचं नाही. मग 46, 47, 48, मग त्याच्यानंतर इथे मेथड्स ऑफ मेजरिंग हे इनपुट. मग इथे पण इनपुटचा पहिला पॅरा. मग 49, 50. गॉट इट. एवढं कम्प्लीट करा, पण उद्या विल फिनिश द चॅप्टर. ठीक आहे. सो उद्या आपण 7:30 ला चालू करू. म्हणजे 7:30 ला चालू केलं म्हणजे सगळे जॉईन होईपर्यंत 7:35, 7:40 होतात. सो तसं जॉईन करा, नाही तर मग आपल्याला अजून 8 पर्यंत जाईल आपला टाइम. आपल्याला उद्या फिनिश नाही करता येणार, जाईल लेट होईल आपल्याला. ठीक आहे. सो विल फिनिश टुमॉरो. आणि मग ते झाल्यानंतर मग आपल्याला 2 चॅप्टर राहतात मॉड्यूल 1 मधून. ते संपले की मग मॉड्यूल 1 इज ओव्हर. सो ऑलमोस्ट एक 25 to 30% ऑफ युअर अकाउंट इज ओव्हर. नाउ ओनली थिंग इज यू नीड टू प्रॅक्टिस प्रॅक्टिस प्रॅक्टिस. आणि हा चॅप्टर तर नक्कीच करायला पाहिजे. ओके. 10 मार्क्स पकडा, कुठे मिनिमम पकडा, जास्त येऊ शकतात. 16 मार्क्स साठी पण येऊ शकतो, नेव्हर नो. दे कॅन आस्क 2 क्वेश्चन्स ऑफ 8 मार्क्स. झालं तुमचं, युअर पास स्ट्रेट अवे. 16 मार्क तुम्हाला जर आले तर झालं, नथिंग लाईक इट. ओके, येऊ शकतात. सो कंटिन्यू टुमॉरो. ठीक आहे, एवढं कम्प्लीट करा प्लीज. ओके, चलो सी यू.
ओके.